Well, I will tell you, the nuclear crisis in Japan following the situation of the Fukushima reactors was a terrible tragedy.
We have a small detachment 300 meters from the U.S. Forces Japan headquarters. We picked up the phone and said, Mike, walk down the street, reintroduce yourself to the staff. Let them know who you are, where you're from, and what capabilities you bring to bear.
Now these folks that are stationed there, even though they're on-site inspection, they're cross-trained as consequence management folks. And that's exactly what they then kicked into in that role. Plus, our facilities there served as the basing area as we moved other consequence management and other reach-back folks into country to help the government of Japan handle Fukushima.
The radiation exposure coming off of that civil nuclear reactor will kill you just as well as a nuclear weapon. So within minutes, we had people at the headquarters of the U.S. military.
Who knew the Fukushima was going to happen due to an earthquake and a tsunami? Okay? So what do we need for that? We needed some type of hydrologist to understand the water itself. We needed also nuclear physicists, not just nuclear weapons specialists. We needed nuclear reactor specialists. We have those on team. We are able to get those experts to actually concentrate on solving the immediate needs for answering the questions for that.
We were basically feeding a lot of our expertise in terms of nuclear alarms, nuclear spread, atmospheric spread, as well as groundwater flow and flow into the ocean. Those types of things were done, and we provided very strong support, but generally through the folks that we had on the ground there.
It wasn't just the nuclear threat on land. It wasn't just the nuclear reactor. All of that nuclear material was spilling into the ocean, and it was spreading around the Pacific Ocean. And the United States Navy was potentially at threat, because the last thing you want to do is take a carrier strike force through a large nuclear contaminated area. So there were some very interesting moments where we were in direct contact with the United States Navy, recommending paths to stay out of nuclear contaminated area. There are a lot of people around here who boast that they were driving the carriers, they were driving the cruisers and destroyers to keep them out of harm's way.
We were exchanging information routinely all day and all night so that we were assisting in an integrated U.S. government response.
There were at least 20 different agencies or 20 different type of requests coming in for analyst information. So at that time we were working at least 7 to 10 analysts working a problem continuously, giving answers virtually every hour. Doesn't matter whether it's through OSD, through PACOM for this point, or other staffs and agencies throughout the United States.
So it was fortuitous that we had people close, but again, it's that expertise that we're training in people on how to support others in consequence of execution.
That was a tremendous success because there was nobody else really in the world that could do what we were doing as quickly as we were doing it for the Japanese people.
And after the crisis had been averted, reached some level of normalcy again, the Japanese defense minister and the ambassador asked to visit DTRA. The most interesting thing was, as they were leaving, the defense minister turned to me and he said, "We need a DTRA. How do you create a DTRA?" And I didn't have a good answer. Because this agency has been brought together so many unique skill sets and responsibilities and experiences. It's nuclear physicists, microbiologists, special operators, you name it, all coming together in one. But I don't think there's any higher compliment than a foreign official, a defense minister of another country, coming here, A, to thank us for our role, but B, to ask us some advice on how they can try and replicate us. Because right now there is no other organization like this in the world, and that's something special.